Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Vijaya Pandit. Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Welcome, everyone. Welcome around the world as we gradually have people joining our Sunday morning Śrīmad-Bhāgavatam class on the pastimes of Krishna, as so eloquently presented by our spiritual master, His Divine Grace A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Prabhupāda, Founder-Ācārya of the International Society for Krishna Consciousness. And it is vital that everyone understand Prabhupada's position in being able to liberate all of us, not only us, but anyone who takes shelter of his transcendental mercy from the bondage of material life. This is a perplexity for people. They're very confused, especially these days of the Kali Yuga, where there's so much chaos, tragedy with the current political and economic situation that the karmis have got themselves into. And it's interesting to note, everyone, that the most degraded species of life on this planet is the human species. Of all the different species, even though the human being is gifted with intelligence and so many other material assets, they're also driven by anger, envy, kama, lobha, moha, anger, greed, and lust. And this is degrading the human society down to the level of war, killing people. This is the problem when one is not Krishna conscious. They become degraded. Of all the different species, the human being is the only one that has the ability, Prabhupada explained. Vijay Pandit, he explains very clearly that this is the only opportunity for a conditioned soul to get out of the material world and just see what's happening. Instead of turning their attention to self-realization, they're turning their attention, Yaśodā-nandana Prabhu, good to see you, to self-destruction. From self-realization to self-destruction. So we, as devotees, always remain aloof. I can remember when we first joined the movement, Yaśoda and I, there was wars going on. Oh yes, there was. In the 60s, there was the Vietnam War. Terrible, absolutely a terrible situation. And certain countries were trying to spread their global interests in their cry for democracy. Prabhupada called democracy demon crazy. Demon crazy. Democracy is a farce. doesn't work. The blind leading the blind. That's exactly what's going on here in Hamilton, Ontario. I went to the polls last year. There was a sergeant in the police department. He wanted to get elected. He came to my house and I met him. I preached to him a bit. And then I said, yeah, I'll go down and vote for you. When I got to the polling station, I looked at everybody voting and I go, this is actually insane. How can these people, they haven't got a clue about politics, about life, about economics. They know nothing. And yet they're voting in somebody who is totally unqualified. And the person they voted in now just had to shut her office down here in our district because she made comments in support of the Palestinians. So, you have the head of the government supporting the Jewish group, and then you have the local MP here supporting the Palestinians, and there's this constant struggle. You saw, if you look at the news these days, they've got hundreds of thousands of people now marching in favor of the Palestinians. And then you've got America giving $50 billion to support the Israelis. So here we have all this, clamoring and business going on in relation to war. And this is unfortunate. This is so tragic. And we are the transcendental soldiers, everyone, just so you know. Transcendental soldiers. And our weapon is Prasadam and the holy name and Prabhupada's original unedited books. Oh, yeah. And we're looking forward, moving into the future, to publish some of these books. I'm just reading this Sri Upanishad here. It has a different cover, but it's the original script from 1969. And we have some plans for this. So, and other books, of course. And we're being encouraged by our colleagues to also write. So if you have any inspiration to write something, Prabhupada would encourage you to do that in order to keep his position as Founder-Ācārya at the forefront of everything that we do. Not that you use the books. You make these books and then you advertise another group, his original group, as the representative. And when you go to this group, they don't represent him. They change it. Oh, follow me. So this is unfortunate and part of the struggle. That's it. The struggle of the living entities in the material world. And Prabhupada, back in 1966, he was working tirelessly to advance his mission with the International Society for Krishna Consciousness. And we're going to go to the diaries of Śrīla Prabhupāda. We're going to look at a section. Yeah, there we are. Thank you, Venkat Bhatta, our production manager in Bangalore, India. So devotees all over the world working together. This is real Krishna consciousness. So a membership form for the new society printed in late 1966 on a mimeograph machine. It's not like today, huh? Totally changed. We have tremendous opportunity, everyone, to spread Krishna consciousness with all the facilities that are available these days. So please think about how you can help us and join us and participate on a daily basis with this preaching effort. International Society for Krishna Consciousness, Inc., 26 2nd Avenue, New York, New York. And the telephone is 674-7428. It was great when Prabhupada finally got a telephone. Acharya Swami A.C. Bhaktivedanta. So no Prabhupada here yet. The International Society for Krishna Consciousness actively practices these principles. 1. Spreading and propagating individual and universal love throughout the world through the practice of bhakti yoga. Here you go. So if you want to find out what to do, here it is. 2, developing bliss in the individual through the rituals and practice of Hinduism under the guidance of a spiritual master guru. 3, installing the science of God, scriptural knowledge through the carefully directed study of ancient scriptures. Carefully directed. 4, singing and playing Indian music, instruments provided, dancing, serving prasadam, spiritual food, and hearing of the word of Krishna through our Acharya and spiritual master, A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami. 5, constructing the first Hindu temple in America. It appears that some kind of a legal-minded person wrote this. And Prabhupada approved it, of course, so it's quite fine. It's just interesting to note. All these principles are fully embraced by our members. One may become a tentative member, merely by pledging to attend a meeting at our temple on Monday, Wednesday, or Friday evenings at 7 p.m. So 3 times a week we're meeting, Wednesday, Saturday, and Sunday. Mailing in the detached form below will both constitute your pledge to attend and install you as a tentative member. Interesting term, huh? A tentative member by putting you on our mailing list. We have a mailing list too, as well, so please join our mailing list and invite others to come to it on a weekly basis online. Oh, Krishna, I apologize so much. I was reminded to turn my ringer off. Apologize so much. You're pledged to attend and install as a tentative member by putting you on our mailing list. Our address is the International Society for Krishna Consciousness, 26 2nd Avenue between 1st and 2nd Streets, New York, New York. And here's the pledge. I hereby pledge to attend a meeting on Monday, Wednesday, and Friday, or Friday at 7 p.m., thus becoming a tentative member of the International Society for Krishna Consciousness. Very interesting, Ron Singh, to see this. And have my name added to the mailing list. So Prabhupada was building a database back then. We're doing the same thing. And we encourage everybody to please attend every week the 3 classes. All glories to Śrīla Prabhupāda. We'll carry on now with our program of Jaya Radha Madhava, Kunja Bihari, and then the discussion and reading from the original Śrīmad-Bhāgavatam from 1962 with Yaśodā-nandana Prabhu. All glories to Śrīla Prabhupāda.
Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari Yaśodā-nandana Brajajana Ranjana Yaśodā-nandana Brajajana Ranjana Jamuna Tira Banachari Yamuna Tira Vanachari Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari Gopi Jana Vallabha Girivaradhari Gopi Jana Vallabha Girivaradhari Yaśodā-nandana Dāsa Yaśodā-nandana Dāsa Yamuna Tira Vanachari Yamuna Tira Vanachari Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari Jaya Paramahansa Parivrajaga-ācārya Śrīmad-Bhāgavatam Saraswati Goswami Prabhupāda ki Jaya Ananta Koti Vaishnava ki Jaya Nāma-ācārya Śrī Haridas Thakur ki Jaya Prem se kaho Sri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Sri Advaita Gadadhar Śrīvāsādi Gaur Bhaktivedanta ki Jaya Sri Radha Krishna Bhogavanath Sam Khanda Radha Khanda Girivadan ki Jaya Vrindavan Dham ki Jaya Navadvip Dham ki Jaya Ganga Mai ki Jai, Jamuna Mai ki Jai, New Dwarka Dham ki Jai, Swami Bhaktivedanta ki Jai, all glories to their Swami. All glories to their Swami. Thank you very much.
All glories to you, Śrīla Prabhupada. Glories to you, Prabhupada. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. O my Lord, Sri Krishna, the son of Vasudeva, the all-pervading personality of Godhead, I do offer my respectful obeisances unto you. Narayanam namaskritya Narayanam namaskritya Naram cheva narottamam Naram cheva narottamam Devim saraswatim vyasam Devim saraswatim vyasam Tato jayam mudirayat Tato jayam mudirayat. One should utter the means of conquest, Śrīmad-Bhāgavatam, after offering respectful obeisances, 1, to the personality of Godhead, Narayana, 2, to the Nara-Narayana Rishi, who is the supermost human being, 3, to the Mother Saraswati, the goddess of learning, and 4, to Śrīla Vyasadeva, the author. So welcome everyone to this reading and discussion on Śrīmad-Bhāgavatam. As we do every week, we will be reading a few verses explaining the meaning and benefit of hearing the Śrīmad-Bhāgavatam. First, we'll read from Canto 1, Chapter 2, text number 12. Tatshraddhadana munayo jnana vairagya yuktaya pashyanti atmani chatmanam bhaktya shruta grihitaya. That absolute truth is realized by the seriously inquisitive student or sages, well equipped with knowledge and detachment, by performance of devotional service in terms of hearing the Vedanta Shruti. Text number 13. Atapumbhir dvijashreshta varna shrama vibhagashaha swanushthitasya dharmasya samsiddhir haritoshanam. O the best among the twice born, it is therefore concluded that the highest perfection achieved in the matter of discharging one's own prescribed occupational duties in terms of the division of the institutional forecast and orders of life is to please the personality of Godhead. Text number 14. Tasmadikena manasam Bhagavan Sattvatam Patihi Shrotavyaha Kirtitavyascha Dhyeya Pujyascha Nityada. Therefore, the personality of Godhead, who is the protector of the devotees, must be always heard of, glorified, remembered, and worshipped with one's attention. Text number 15. Yadanudyasina yuktaha karma granti nibandhanam chindanti kovidastasya kona kuryad kataratim. Intelligent persons do cut off the internet of the knot of reactionary work by remembering of the personality of Godhead. Therefore, who will not give attention to his message? Text 16. Shushrushoho shraddhadanasya vasudeva kataruchihi syan mahat sevaya vipraha punyatirtani shevanat. O the twice born sages, by serving those devotees who are completely freed from all ranges of vice, a standard of great service is done. And as the result of such great service, affinity in the messages of Vasudeva is made possible. Text number 17. Shrinvatam svakata krishnaham punya shravana kirtanaham ridyantastoya badrani vidunoti suritsatam. Sri Krishna, the personality of Godhead, who is also the Paramatma in everyone's heart and the benefactor of the truthful devotee, does cleanse the desire for material enjoyment in the heart of the devotee who has developed the urge for hearing his, Krishna's messages, which are themselves virtuous when properly heard and chanted. Text 18. Nashtaprayeshu mabadrishu nityam bhagavata sevaya bhagavati uttama shloke bhaktira bhavati naishtiki. By regular attendance in the Bhagavatam class or rendering service unto the pure devotees, all that is inauspicious in the heart of a candidate becomes destroyed almost to nil. And thus, loving service unto the personality of Godhead, who is praised with transcendental song, comes into being an irrevocable fact. Text 19. Tadara justamo bhavaha kamalo badayaschaye chetayeterana viddham sitvam sattve prasidati. As soon as irrevocable loving service is fixed up in one's heart, at that time the effects of the nature's mode of passion and ignorance, such as lust, desire, and hankerings, etc., do disappear from one's heart, and he becomes fixed up in a mode of goodness, which makes him completely happy. Text 20. Evam prasanna manaso bhagavad bhakti yogataha bhagavat tattva vijnanam mukta sangasya jayate. Thus, when one is positively fixed up in a mode of unalloyed goodness, the enlivened-minded man affected by contact of devotional service of the Lord can positively know scientific knowledge of the personality of Godhead in the stage of liberation from all material association. So we could go on for literally hours reading these kind of nectarian verses. But today we will be reading from Canto 1, Chapter 3, I believe it's text number 36 and 37, all English synonyms, translations, and purport by His Divine Grace A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Prabhupāda, Founder-Ācārya of the International Society for Krishna Consciousness, also known as the Krishna Consciousness Movement. Text 36. Savaidam vishvamamoga lilaha srijati avatayati na sajjati ismin bhuteshu chantarita atmatantraha sadvargikam jigrati sadgunesha. Sa, the Supreme Lord. Va, alternately. Idam, this. Vishwam, manifestive universes. Amoga lilaha, one whose activities are spotless. Avatayati, maintains and annihilates. Na, not. Sajjate, becomes affected by. Asmin, in them. Bhuteshu, in all living beings. Cha, also. Antarita, living within. Sadvarjik, become endowed with all the potencies of 6 opulences. Jigrati, superficially attached like the smelling, the flavor. Sadgunesha, master of the 6 senses. Translation by Śrīla Prabhupāda. The Lord, whose activities are always spotless, is the master of the 6 senses and is omnipotent fully with 6 opulences. As such, he creates the manifestive universes, maintains them, and then again annihilates them without being the least affected by those actions. He is within every living being and is always self-independent. Purport by His Divine Grace, Śrīla Prabhupāda. The prime difference between the Lord and the living entities is that the Lord is the creator and the living entities are the created. He is called here as the Amoga Lila, which means there is nothing lamentable in his creation. Those who create disturbance in his creation are themselves disturbed. He is transcendental to all material afflictions because he is full with all 6 opulences, namely wealth, power, fame, beauty, knowledge, and renunciation, and as such, he is the master of all senses. He creates this manifestive universes in order to reclaim the living beings who are within them suffering threefold miseries, maintain them, and in due course annihilates them without being the least affected by such actions. He is connected with this material creation very superficially, like one smells the odor without being connected with the odorous article. Non-godly elements, therefore, can never approach him in spite of all endeavorers. Text 37. Nachasya kaschit nipunena dhatu rabeti jantuhu kamani shautihi namani rupani mano vachobihi Santadvato natacharyam ibagnaha, na, not, cha, and, asya, of him, kaschit, anyone, nipunena, by dexterity, dhatur, of the creator, avaiti, can know, jantuhu, the living being, kumanisha, with poor fund of knowledge, utihi, activities of the Lord, namani is names, rupani is forms, manovachobihi, by dint of mental speculation or deliverance of speeches, santanvato, displaying, natacharyam, the dramatical player, iva, like, agnaha, the foolish. Translation: the foolish man with poor fund of knowledge cannot know the transcendental nature of the forms, names, and activities of the Lord, who is playing like a dramatical actor. Neither they can express such things even by mental speculation or by deliverance of different speeches. Purport: nobody can properly describe the transcendental nature of the absolute truth, and therefore it is said that he is beyond the expression of mind and speeches. And yet there are some men with poor fund of knowledge who desire to understand the absolute truth by imperfect speculation of the mind and faulty description of his activities. To the layman, the activities, appearance, and disappearance, his names, his forms, his paraphernalia, his personalities, and all such things in relation with him are something like mysterious acts. There are two classes of materialists, namely the fruitive workers and the empiric philosophers. The fruitive workers have practically no information of the absolute truth, and the mental speculators, after being frustrated in the matter of fruitive activities, turn their face towards the absolute truth and tries to know him by mental speculation. And for all these men, the absolute truth is a mystery as much as the jugglery of the magician is to the children. Being deceived by such jugglery of the Supreme Being, the non-devotees, who may be very much dexterous in the matter of fruitive work and mental speculation, are always gifted with poor fund of knowledge. With such limited knowledge, they are unable to penetrate into the mysterious region of transcendence. The mental speculators are a little bit progressive than the gross materialists or the fruitive workers, but because such mental speculators are also within the grip of illusion, they take it for granted that anything which has a form, a name, and activities is but a product of the material energy. For them, the Supreme Spirit is formless, nameless, and inactive. And because such mental speculators equalize the transcendental name and form of the Lord as similar to that of mundane names and form, they are in fact gifted with poor fund of knowledge. With such poor fund of knowledge, there is no access in the real nature of the Supreme Being. As stated in the Bhagavad Gita, the Lord is always in a transcendental position, even when he is within the material world. But men gifted with poor fund of knowledge consider the Lord as one of the great personalities of the world and are thus misled by the illusory energy. Om Ajnana Timirandasya Jnanam Janashalakaya Chakshurun Militam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha. I offer my respectful obeisances. We all offer our respectful obeisances unto our spiritual master, Śrīla Prabhupāda, who has opened our eyes from the darkness of ignorance with a torchlight of transcendental knowledge. Nama Om Vishnupadaya Krishna Prestaya Bhutale Śrīmate Bhaktivedanta Swami Namine Namaste Saraswate Deve Gauravani Pracharine Nirvishesha Shwanyavadi Paschatya Deshatarine Bhakti Siddhanta Shishyaya Bhaktivedanta Namine Prasannaya Prashantaya Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha Bhagavad Vandanam Khadyam Guru Vandana Purvakam Kshiram Sharkara Yuktam Kadatihi Visheshataha Adadana Strinam Danter Idam Yachi Punaha Punaha Śrīmad Rupa Padam Bhoja Dhulishyam Janma Janmani Sri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhara Shri Vasadi Gaura Bhakta Vrindam Shri Rup Sanatana Bhatta Raghunatha Sri Jiva Gopala Bhatta Dasa Raghunatha Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare. So these two texts here have a great wealth of information about the exalted position of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Just before we began this reading, I sent out an email. I compiled a few verses. I don't know if it actually went through, but basically it's different explanations by Śrīla Prabhupada of the meaning of the word Bhagavan. And Prabhupada would often quote from the Vishnu Purana, where it is said, Aisvaryasya samagrasya viryasya yashashashriyaha jnana vairagyascheva sannam bhagam itingana. Bhagavan means who possesses these six opulences in full, all riches, all strength, all influence, all wisdom, all beauty, all renunciation. So this is the exalted position of the Supreme Personality of Godhead, Krishna. It's a very important point because many people will read the Shastra, but they will not understand the exalted position of Krishna. One of Krishna's name is Amoga Lila. They mean one whose activities are completely faultless, completely pure. We see in the Bhagavad Gita, in chapter 10, how Arjuna is praising Krishna, Pavitram Paramam Bhavan, that you are the supreme pure. You are the supreme person and the supreme pure. We also see in the Ishopanishad, it is described, Apapa Vidam, that no sin, no fault can attach to Krishna. Completely transcendental. Because in this world, just like Vishwakarma Prabhu was describing, there are a lot of disturbances, especially in Kali Yuga. So many disturbances are there. But the very nature of this world is full of disturbance, especially in Kali Yuga. Kali Yuga means the age of quarrel and hypocrisy. So many symptoms are described in the Śrīmad-Bhāgavatam. So much fighting is going on, all under the illusion that this belongs to me, this belongs to my family, this land belongs to my nation, to my country, to this and that. So many illusory, false ideas. Ahamkara vimudatma kartaham miti manyate. The Bhagavad Gita is described under the influence of ahamkara, of false ego. The person thinks he's the doer. He also thinks he's the proprietor. Proprietor of what? It was here before you came. It will remain here after you go. Where's the question of proprietorship? But this is the influence of Maya, illusion. Because in the material world, every living being, especially human beings, are subjected to 6 waves called Shad Urmi. Shad Urmi means 6 waves. What is that? Kama, Krodha, Lobha, Moha, Mada, Matsarya. Lust, anger, greed, madness, illusion, and envy. It doesn't matter if somebody is a big rich man or poor man, if somebody is intelligent or not intelligent, if somebody is beautiful or not beautiful. Everyone is affected with these 6 problems. Everyone is affected by this. But under the illusion of Maya, they're thinking, oh, I'm enjoying very nicely. Just like if a person is on a boat in the ocean and he falls off the boat into the ocean, it is no time to start speculating, how did I fall? Did I slip? Did somebody push me? Did the barrier break? No, this is the time to grab the lifeline, the lifeboat. What is that lifeline? Just like if you go on the ocean or very turbulent waters, you have to wear a jacket, a life jacket, a floating device, so that if you fall in the water, you have a chance to survive. So in this material world, to survive the influence of these Shad Urmi, of these 6 negative influences, one has to take shelter of the instructions of a bona fide, self-realized Acharya. Dhira, iti shushrama dhiranam. In the same Upanishad, Ishavasya Upanishad, it is described that one should hear from the undisturbed Acharya. What is a dhira? Dhira, one who is not disturbed by the whirlpool of the material energy. One who's completely beyond the influence of the material energy. That is not easy to achieve. On one hand, it is easy. On the other hand, it can be very difficult. If one understands the position of Krishna, because it is described here in text number 36, Prabhupada says, because he's full with all 6 opulences, namely wealth, power, fame, beauty, knowledge, and renunciation, and as such is the master of all senses. He creates this manifested universes in order to reclaim the living beings who are within them suffering threefold miseries, maintains them, and in due course annihilates them without being the least affected by such actions. And the example is given, just like you smell an odor without being connected, without connection with the original source of the odor, the odorous article. So this is very important. Krishna comes to this world, but he's not affected by this world. He's completely transcendental to this world. I was told one time, this was in the winter in Vrindavan. For those of you who have been to India in the winter time in Vrindavan, it can get a little cold. It does not snow like here, but it will get pretty cold. And as you know, in India, they build the houses with bricks and stones. And many of these houses are not structured with structural heating or forced heating. So in the winter, it gets a little chilly. It gets a little chilly. So one of Prabhupada's servants went to Śrīla Prabhupada, Prajimna Panditji, and he told Prabhupada, how did these 6 Goswamis manage to live in Vrindavan and sleep under a tree every night? How is that possible? Because at that time we had hats and gloves and sweaters and scarves and trying to counteract the cold. And Prabhupada told, he says, because the six Goswamis were not ordinary men like you and me. Śrīla Prabhupada was being very humble. Prabhupada was not an ordinary man, but as part of that discussion, he says, they are completely transcendental souls, liberated souls. They're personal associates of Lord Chaitanya. They're not ordinary persons. So this is a very important point to understand. One has to hear the message of Godhead, the message of Krishna from such exalted personalities, very special personalities. We are reading on Wednesdays in Chaitanya Charitamrita, we read the activities of Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. And we are reading in Adi Lila, chapter 4, the exalted position of Radharani and the personal associates of Krishna. Now, this is quite important because we see that many persons, even in our sampradaya, have misunderstanding of Krishna's position, of Krishna's nature, of Krishna's activities. It is not so easy to understand Krishna. On one hand, it can be very easy if one hears from the proper sources. And on the other hand, it can be very difficult if one does not hear from the proper sources. In the Upanishad, it is described, Nayamatma pravachanena, nalabhya na bahuna shrutena, that the supreme absolute truth, the supreme Brahman, cannot be understood by elaborate speeches, by elaborate pravachana, by big preaching. Namedaya shrutaya, na bahuna shrutena. Even if one is highly intelligent, most intelligent, genius, that is no guarantee that one will understand Krishna. Even if one has studied all the four Vedas, na bahuna shritena, even that is also not the qualification. We've often quoted from the Brahma Samhita, where Lord Brahma is explaining, Durlabam adurlabam atma bhaktau, that Krishna is very difficult to understand for those who are not devotees. But for those who are devotees of Krishna, Atma Bhakto, Adurlabham, it is not difficult. Not difficult. There's no need for endless speculation, endless arguments. It is revealed, completely revealed. Śrīla Prabhupada was once asked a question by one of his leading devotees, that of all the things you've taught, what is the most important verse? And Prabhupada quoted that verse from the Shvetashvatara Upanishad, Yasya deve parabhaktir yata deve tata gurau, tasyete katita yartaha prakashante mahatmanaha. What does that mean? For those who have firm faith in the instruction of the bona fide authorized spiritual master and Krishna, for them, all the purports, all the meaning of the Vedic literature is revealed. There's one letter where Prabhupada was describing, if you just chant Hare Krishna and take prasadam, everything will be revealed to you. Of course, because we're so dumb, influenced by Kali Yuga, Prabhupada wrote these books to give very nice systematic explanation, like here, making very clear explanation of how to understand Krishna. What is the proper path to understand Krishna's name, Krishna's activities, Krishna's pastimes? This is the process. Atasra Krishna namadi na bhavedgriyam indriyai. Prabhupada often explained that you cannot understand Krishna Nabhavangrayam indriyai, with these material senses, with these blunt material senses. Well, if you can't understand Krishna that way, then how do you understand? Sevan mukhehi jivado swayameva spuratyadaha, that Krishna will be revealed if you engage the tongue, jivado, in vibrating the name of Krishna and in taking foodstuff offered to Krishna. Just this week, one devotee sent me a chapter of the Hari Bhakti Vilas. Hari Bhakti Vilas is a very detailed book by Gopal Bhatta Goswami with commentary of Sanatan Goswami, explaining every conceivable aspect of devotional service. There is one section in the 8th Vilas where Gopal Bhatta Goswami is explaining how to offer foodstuff to the deity. It is fairly complex. Of course, Sanatana Goswami also explains that everything has to be offered with devotion. That is the basic fundamental principle. But the technical aspect of offering foodstuff to the deity is fairly complex. And what Śrīla Prabhupāda did was to simplify the complex process and make it easy for dumbheads like us, for Kali Yuga, nonsense people like us, to understand and practice very simply, not complicated, not difficult. Because in our sampradaya, there have been various paddatis or manuals of how to worship the deities that have been written over the years. Just like we have the Hari Bhakti Vilas, which has considerable detailed information. There was another book that was written just after the departure of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu by Gopal Guru Goswami and Dhyana Chandra Goswami, two associates of Lord Chaitanya. They wrote a book called Gaur Govinda Smarana Archana Padati, which is a very detailed, systematic way of worshiping the deity according to the Gaudiya Sampradaya. During the time of Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur, there was a book that he compiled based on these various other literatures of how to worship the deity, how to offer foodstuff, how to offer artik. And Śrīla Prabhupada came and he made things very simple. Not complicated, not difficult, very simple. It's quite unique that Prabhupada engaged women in doing artik and doing all kinds of things that many of the other acharyas did not do. Many of the other acharyas did not give Brahmin Gayatri mantras to women. They didn't. It's like if you go to Vrindavan, to all these big temples, you will not see women doing the artik, but Prabhupada introduced it. He had women do artik, women distributing books, women leading kirtan, women playing the mridanga, women giving Śrīmad-Bhāgavatam class. Prabhupada was a revolutionary, creating a Sankirtan army to bring the message of Lord Chaitanya wherever, according to time, place, and circumstances. Desha Kala Patranyaya. This is important to understand. Only the bona fide empowered acharya can do that. Neophyte devotees, whether they're Madhyam devotees or Kanishta devotees, cannot do this, cannot invent or manufacture their own way of presenting Krishna consciousness. Then it just creates a disturbance, utpat. This is the word that has been chosen by Rupa Goswami. That if devotional service or the practice of bhakti is not done according to Shruti, Smriti, Puranas, and Pancharatrika, utpatayeva kalpate, it will simply cause a disturbance in society, both in devotional society and in human society. Simply becomes sahajya. Complete sahajya. They will invent so many things, thinking that they're empowered, imagining themselves to be liberated. Imagining themselves to be liberated. You cannot jump on a trampoline and jump to the level of Nikunja Yuno. It doesn't work that way. That is not the standard. That is revealed to the devotee after purification. Every single time that Śrīla Prabhupada was asked about Siddha Deha, one's relationship with Krishna, Swarup Siddhi, about the higher level of Ragamarg, Rasika Bhakti, every time Prabhupada would reply, first you become liberated, become completely free from the influence of the mode nature, fully understand that you're not the body, then it will be revealed to you. But there's a class of cheap devotees with poor fund of knowledge. They want to jump. They want to pull out their trampolines and jump, thinking that they're on a higher level. They will go and get translation of the books of the Goswamis, trying to study that, to try to present themselves as expert, Gopi Bhava experts, Rasika experts. This is not what our Śrīla Prabhupada has taught. The process is there, or there's definitely a process, but it has to be followed as given by the Acharya, the authorized Acharya, Śrīla Prabhupada. If one invents his own way, he will simply create trouble for himself and for others. There was one lecture where Prabhupada was talking about the importance of hearing Bhagavad Gita and Śrīmad-Bhāgavatam. And Prabhupada says, don't be a better Paramahamsa than your Guru Maharaj. Just like I'm attending the class morning and evening, Prabhupada was explaining how he was attending the class. So you attend the class, chant, worship Tulsi. Don't try to be a better Paramahamsa than your Guru Maharaj. Now, this is a very important instruction. Because now we have many devotees who think, oh, I don't have to chant my round. Now I'm an older devotee. I'm a senior devotee. Why should I have to chant? It doesn't work that way. You should chant from the beginning till the end. The perfect example of Haridas Thakur is there. Perfect example of Śrīla Prabhupada was there. All the great acharyas, even Jayananda, the exalted Jayananda, was chanting Hare Krishna till the end. He never gave it up. So we can develop a taste for chanting. It's there. Simply we have to make the effort. Pray to Krishna, pray to Radharani, pray to the six Goswamis, pray to Śrīla Prabhupada. Give us some mercy so we can develop that taste. Look at the Shikshastakam by Lord Chaitanya, that you're very merciful. Nija Shaktihi, your own potencies are invested. Nam Namakari Bauda Nija Sarva Shaktis. Tatrarpita Niyamata Smaranena Kalaha. But he says, Nanuraga, I have no taste. Of course, if Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, who is Krishna himself, he's explaining, this is our position. We have no taste. We have taste for so many things in this material world. And now we should dedicate the time to develop a taste to hear about Krishna. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna.
Yes, absolutely wonderful explanation of this section of the Bhagavatam by you, Yaśodā-nandana Prabhu. And it's interesting to note that when a devotee repeats the philosophy of Krishna consciousness based on the teachings of his guru, it becomes even sweeter in terms of hearing, because we are following in the footsteps of the spiritual master. We're not inventing or concocting new ways and means to preach this philosophy that comes from Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. And before we move forward, we're going to ask later for Dharma Bhavana and Rupa Manjari and Paranjana and Janis Priya to give comments, but I wanted to mention in relation to this verse, Nicho Nichananam Chaitanas Chaitananam Eko Yo Bahuda Vadati Kaman, that we are the eternal parts and parcels Nicho Nichananam, of the Supreme Lord. So this is a very important part of our philosophy, that we have to understand that life does not come from matter, but it comes from Krishna himself. That everything is living because of the presence of Krishna in all living entities. And in fact, for the human being, we have up to 72% of the potency of the Supreme Lord, because we are qualitatively one with Krishna, not quantitatively. So this is a very, very valuable asset for all of us as people situated in the tabernacle of the human body. We're stuck here. It's like a prison house. And or it's also described as the city of 9 gates. So this city of openings, the 2 eyes, the 2 nostrils, the 2 ears, the mouth, the anus, and the genital, these gates are the portals to the material world for the soul who's situated in the body. So we are incarcerated, let's say, in the prison house of material life. It's just such an unfortunate situation. Prabhupada said, the material body is like a bad bargain for the spirit soul. Now, all of us on this program, we all understand the difficulties of life because we're going through them every day. This is a prison house. And in order to get the proper understanding of the purpose of life, we have to go through training. So like earlier today, I was reading from the diaries of Śrīla Prabhupāda, and he was referring to his classes and saying that the tentative members, those people that want to make advancement, they have to attend the classes that he's giving. It's not arbitrary. It's a discipline. You have to follow the rules. You find in our particular situation, there's so many people giving classes for various reasons, for whatever. There are all different types of kirtans, there are different methodologies. But we are proud to represent the Prabhupada Disciples Association and our process of representing Prabhupada to the world as the bona fide Acharya. And I thought it would be important for us today to further understand how to get out of this material world from the teachings of Rupa Goswami in the Nectar of Instruction, which was another wonderful book that Prabhupada presented in the 70s to us. Here it is here, Nectar of Devotion. I do recall Yaśodā-nandana Prabhu, you were sitting in this courtyard. There's so many nice pictures of you with Prabhupada. You're sitting so attentively, listening to him speak on how to get out of this material world, how to get out of this prison house. And Rupa Goswami has described here in these verses, text 1, Vachu Vegam, Manasa, Krodha Vegam, Jiva Vegam, Udara Pasta Vegam, Etan Vego, Yo Vishaheta Dira, Sarvam Apimam Pritivam Sasishyai. A sober person who could tolerate the urge to speak, the mind's demands, the actions of anger, and the urges of the tongue, belly, and genitals, is qualified to make disciples all over the world. Text 2. Let's see if we can find this one. It's a large purport there. It's very nice. I encourage you to get this. We want to publish this book as well, along with Sri Upanishad. Text 2. I'll just read the English translation. One's devotional service is spoiled when he becomes too entangled in the following 6 activities. Eating more than necessary, or collecting more funds than required. 2, over-endeavoring for mundane things that are very difficult to obtain. 3, prajalpa, talking unnecessarily about mundane subject matters. 4, practicing the scriptural rules and regulations only for the sake of following them and not for the sake of spiritual advancement, or rejecting the rules and regulations of the scriptures and working independently or whimsically. Very profound here. 5, associating with worldly-minded persons who are not interested in Krishna consciousness. And 6, being greedy for mundane achievements. We'll go on to text 3. Very big purport here as well. Text 3. There are 6 principles favorable to the execution of pure devotional service. 1, being enthusiastic, Vijaya Pandit. 2, endeavoring with confidence, Rupa Manjari. 3, being patient, Janaspriya. 4, acting according to regulated principles such as Shravanam, Kirtanam, Vishnu Smaranam, hearing, chanting, and remembering Krishna. 5, abandoning the association of non-devotees. Association's like a crystal stone. It reflects whatever image it comes in contact with. So stay away from non-devotees. 6, following the footsteps of the previous acharyas. These 6 principles undoubtedly assure the complete success of pure devotional service. And we'll read one last verse from the Nectar of Instruction. Offering gifts in charity, accepting charitable gifts, revealing one's mind in confidence, inquiring confidentiality, accepting prasadam, and offering prasadam are the 6 symptoms of love shared by one devotee and another. All glories to Śrīla Prabhupada Yaśodā. If you could further comment, please.
Very important points that you've raised. I wanted to read a few quotes from Śrīla Prabhupada, how His Divine Grace explains the meaning of the word Bhagavan. First, this is from Bhagavad Gita, chapter 2, text number 2, purport. The Sanskrit word Bhagavan is explained by the great authority Parashar Muni, the father of Vyasadeva. The Supreme Personality who possesses all riches, all strength, all fame, all beauty, all knowledge, and all renunciation is called Bhagavan. There are many persons who are very rich, very powerful, very beautiful, very famous, very learned, and very much detached. But no one can claim that he possesses all riches, all strength, etc. entirely. Only Krishna can claim this, because he is the Supreme Personality of Godhead. No living entity, including Brahma, Lord Shiva, or Narayana, can possess opulences as fully as Krishna. Therefore, it is concluded in the Brahma Samhita by Lord Brahma himself that Lord Krishna is the Supreme Personality of Godhead. No one is equal to or above him. He is the primeval Lord, or Bhagavan, known as Govinda, and he is the supreme cause of all causes. Ishvaraha Paramakrishnaha Sachidananda Vigraha Anadiradir Govindaha Sarva Karana Karanam. There are many personalities possessing the qualities of Bhagavan, but Krishna is the supreme because none can excel him. He is the supreme person, and his body is eternal, full of knowledge and bliss. He is the primeval Lord Govinda and the cause of all causes, Brahma Samhita 5.1. Then in Bhagavad Gita, chapter 10, text number 1, Śrīla Prabhupāda says, translation, the Supreme Personality of Godhead said, listen again, O mighty armed Arjuna, because you are my dear friend, for your benefit I shall speak to you further, giving knowledge that is better than what I have already explained. The word Bhagavan is explained thus by Parashara Muni, one who is full in 6 opulences, who has full strength, full fame, wealth, knowledge, beauty, and renunciation, is Bhagavan, or the Supreme Personality of Godhead. While Krishna was present on this earth, he displayed all 6 opulences. Therefore, great sages like Parashar Muni have all accepted Krishna as the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Now Krishna is instructing Arjuna in more confidential knowledge of his opulences and his work. Previously, beginning with the 7th chapter, the Lord has already explained his different energies and how they're acting. Now in this chapter, he explained his specific opulences to Arjuna. In the previous chapter, he has clearly explained his different energies to establish devotion and firm conviction. Again in this chapter, he tells Arjuna about his manifestations in various opulences. The more one hears about the Supreme Lord, the more one becomes fixed in devotional service. One should always hear about the Lord in the association of devotees. That will enhance one's devotional service. Discourses in the society of devotees can take place only amongst those who are really anxious to be in Krishna consciousness. Others cannot take part in such discourses. The Lord clearly tells Arjuna that because Arjuna is very dear to him, for his benefit, such discourses are taking place. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna.
Yes, thank you very much. And I see that we have a devotee from India, Chaitanya Gajil Yaśodā-nandana Prabhu. Now he's posted up a few interesting comments, and I'd like him to give us some background on himself. Chaitanya Gajil, are you there on the broadcast? Do you have a microphone you can speak? Chaitanya. Maybe his mic doesn't work. Okay. If it does, let us know. Dharma Bhavana in Dallas, Texas. Maybe you could share some insights to us again this morning on these particular verses and your realizations on how one can become Krishna conscious. Dharma Bhavana in Dallas. Okay. Is Paranjana with us? The famous Tim Lee. Are you on the call today? Thought I saw your name there. Maybe you could share your visions, Prabhu. Striking out Yaśodā-nandana.
Well, you have to keep trying.
Yeah.
How about
we
Janas
will.
Priya? Janas Priya.
Haribo.
Haribo, Prajan. Okay, here we go.
Okay, yeah, my mic wouldn't unmute for some reason. I've been meditating a little bit on the teachings of Queen Kunti, and I think they're very instructive for us in modern times. We're very overwhelmed by the material energy and all the difficulties that are going on the planet and with the devotee community as well, which basically a lot of chaos and miserable things happening everywhere. But if we think back to the time of Queen Kunti, they had the same thing going on. she was being persecuted in so many ways. The Pandavas were being persecuted. And so it's very instructive for us to meditate on their pastimes. If we think we've got it rough, they were in peril, constantly, the Pandavas. So I want to just read just a little bit of what I've been kind of meditating on lately.
Sure.
From Kunti. Therefore, Kunti Devi says, Vipada Santu, let there be calamities. So can you imagine? She's saying she enjoys the calamitous state of everything because it forces her to think of Krishna. So it's a great lesson for us. We're worried about this, that, and the other, but she's thinking these calamities are beneficial. They're creating a situation where we're being forced to surrender to the Supreme Personality of Godhead because there is no other shelter. She's realizing that. And that's our lesson for us. We should realize the same thing. Vipada Santu Ta Sasva. Let all those calamities happen again and again because she knows how to remember Krishna at these times of danger. She is welcoming danger. My dear Lord, she says, I welcome danger because when dangers come, I can remember you. When Prahlad's father was putting him into dangerous predicaments, Prahlad was always thinking of Krishna. So we are put into dangerous position, and that danger gives us an impetus to remember Krishna. That is welcome. Oh, I am getting this opportunity to remember Krishna. Why is this welcome? It is welcome because seeing Krishna or remember Krishna means advancing in spiritual life so that we will not have to suffer any more of these dangers. Tyaktva deham purna janma naiti mam eti sarjuna. If one becomes advanced in Krishna consciousness, the result will be that after giving up the body, tyaktva deham, one will not have to take birth again in this material world and suffer all these miseries. This is to be desired. Suppose I'm very comfortable at the present moment. My body may be comfortable, but there will be death and then another birth. After giving up my present body, if I get the body of a cat or dog, what is the meaning of my comfortable position? Death is sure, and after death, one must surely accept another body. We may not know what kind of body we shall get, but we can know from Shastra or Vedic literature. The Shastra says, according to our particular mentality, we'll get a particular kind of body. Although I may be in a comfortable position, if I keep my mentality of a dog, I shall get my next life as a dog. Therefore, what is the value of this comfortable position? I may be in comfortable position for 20 years, 30 years, 50 years, at the utmost 100 years. Yet if when I give up this body, my mentality causes me to become a cat, a dog, a mouse, what is the benefit of this comfortable position? But people do not consider this. They think, especially in the present age, I am now in a comfortable position. I have enough money and good estate. I have ample comfort and enough food. When this body is finished, I am not going to take birth again. So long as I am living, let me enjoy life. That is modern philosophy of hedonism, but it does not correspond to the facts. So this is a little glimpse of teachings of Queen Kunti.
Extraordinary, very appropriate to bring that up. Yeah, there's so much information in Prabhupada's books for us. We could just study them on, and they're ever fresh. I wanted to ask our devotee friend Rupa Manjari, because Yasoda was mentioning about Prabhupada being innovative in his preaching mission. And I wanted her to share some of her realizations in terms of today's verses and discussion. Rupa Manjari, Devi Dasi, are you there? Rupa Manjari, are you there? Can you speak? Is your microphone on? We'll go to Janis Priya in Hawaii. Janis Priya, let's hope you're Microphone switch is on. So you
Hare Krishna, Jai Śrīla Prabhupāda. Aloha to everybody.
Aloha.
I am very, very pleased to have an opportunity to participate in hearing and chanting about the wonderful activities of Lord Krishna and the Parampara. And as we always mention on these classes, the how important it is to follow and not to invent, not to make up. I think so many so-called big devotees, they start branching out and they start, according to their understanding, trying to make the philosophy more attractive. They want to attract many people. And so they start putting the philosophy like a new age philosophy, just be a nice person, blah, blah, blah. And guarantee that these people start doing this, they eventually will fade away. There's no question. And we could see that it's already history of this. So that's what Prabhupada told us. Do not make up, I given you everything. So which part of I given you everything we don't understand? You know? So we need to understand that the only source for our inspiration should be in this Sangha, discussing these topics, asking these questions. Who am I? Where did I come from? How could I participate on this? How could I attract more people? How could I invite one person every week to this Sangha? If we could all bring one person, even one person a year, or one person a month, or one person every week. But we need to make this effort, and it's attractive, and people will thank us. I have a couple of people that I have turned on and they have tuned in, and they thank me. They say, thank you so much. Why? Because this group is very, very unique. We're not so much into criticizing. No, we don't care about that. What do we care? Our only word should be, how could I awaken that dormant love of God in my heart? How could I become mad after Krishna? How could I want to follow the instructions of Śrīla Prabhupada? Because this is where our strength comes. If we could follow as closely as Prabhupada asked us, he begged us, please don't make me come back here. So if we could follow, give it our best shot, especially in our age group, one should be just thinking, this is it. We're on the final stretch. This is the final sprint. So let's give it our best shot, and let's bring along as many people as we can. And even if in our whole life we turn somebody and they become a devotee, then we have become totally successful. So this is Śrīla Prabhupada's philosophy. It's very simple. Prabhupada says it's very simple for the simple and complicated for the complicated. He says, Krishna says in Bhagavad Gita, I am God. Bhagavad Gita says, Krishna is God. He says, what is the difficulty? Hare Krishna.
Yes, thank you very much for your realizations. And I wanted to further mention this recent discussion that I saw online of a Jewish lady talking about the history of Islam. And she was saying that Yaśodā-nandana Prabhu, that originally Muhammad was not successful in his preaching work. And he had a very small number of followers. But just see how it's developed, Janaspriya, how big it is now. It's like billions of people. So also realizing that with our group, and you've encouraged us to do this, by the way, and thank you very much for your participation and your enthusiasm to be a part of this effort, that we're doing this, everyone, for future generations. This is one of the reasons we're not attached to the results from week to week. We're attached to doing our service. You're entitled to perform your service, but you're not entitled to the results. That's Krishna's direction in the Gita. So we are interested in preserving Prabhupada's legacy with this group. Now, some people may object, well, you're not up to date, you're not current, you're not millennials, you're not following the trends of modern society. This is not a trend. This is a truth, not a trend. The absolute truth is not a trend. It is unadulterated. It cannot be changed according to the norms of modern society. Look at these norms, everybody. This culture that's being created centered around meat and sex and war and crimes and hatred. This is not proper human society. This is degradation based on the Kali Yuga. So there has to be warriors that are fighting against that. And Janaspriya, thank you for inviting other people to join us. And they're experiencing the bliss of association with like-minded devotees in the line of disciplic succession from Śrīla Prabhupāda through his disciples to new disciples, and on we go. We march into the future, everyone. So with that in mind, Chaitanya Gadgil, on Wednesday, hopefully you'll be able to join us for our discussions. Vinkat Bhatta, I see we're coming to the end of our program. It's 11:28 a.m. Is there any comments that you'd like to share with us from Bangalore, our production manager? Vinkat Bhatta.
No comments from me, Prabhu. There seems to, I think Balram Prabhu has raised his hand. Do we want to take one last question?
Geez, we're out of time. So Balaram, please, which Balaram is it? There's quite a few of them. Is it the one from Australia or Turkey or?
Turkey, I think.
One from Turkey.
Oh, how are you? How's the
Hare
war
Krishna.
over there?
Very nice. Hare Krishna. Just have a quick question for
Yeah.
Yaśodā-nandana Prabhu. I know you're short
Okay.
of time.
We're almost out.
You mentioned in your class, Prabhu, about a certain point where information and realization of Krishna and relationship aspects is revealed. So now, when that happens, when information is revealed like that, what should happen to that? What should devotees do with that? Should they share it? Should they keep it secret? What happens to that revealed level of knowledge?
Well, for one thing, we know that the information that has been revealed and given to us by Śrīla Prabhupāda, that we've also received the instruction to share that knowledge with others. Distribute books, preach, counsel people, guide people, that we know. As far as the personal, if you're referring to the personal realization of Krishna's form and one's relationship with Krishna, that is a personal issue. Now, we don't subscribe to the philosophy or the approach of many of the Gaudiya practitioners in places like Vrindavan or Navadvip and others, who think that you need a special course in Rasika Bhakti and Bhava Bhakti. This is not what Prabhupada taught us. He did not want this approach introduced in his society amongst his followers. Because we've seen practically that every time devotees try to go that artificial route, they became misled, and a lot of them gave up the process or to become full-fledged sahajiyas. Prabhupada's point is you follow the principles, chant 16 rounds, worship Tulsi, follow the morning evening program, follow the process that Prabhupada has given, and then there will be, everything will be revealed, will be manifested. That's basically what he's given us. So that's the best way I can answer your question. I hope that helps.
Thank you, Balaram, for being a part of our Sangha and all of the people that are attending. I see our numbers are rising, and this is an encouragement for all of us as devotees, because all of us are working together cooperatively to please our spiritual master, and this will be the success of his mission. He was saying, if you don't work together, then my mission will be a failure. So it's important for us to continue this bonfire of devotional activity. Let's keep building it and adding logs, Janas Priya, on the fire, and make it a blazing fire to liberate the living entities from the cycle of birth and death. Haribol. All glories to Śrīla Prabhupāda. Let's have the kirtan, everyone. Chant along. And we'll see you on Wednesday evening for Chaitanya Charitamrita class at 8 p.m. Eastern Time here in Canada and the USA. Haribol.
Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Sivasadi Gaur-Bhakta-vrinda Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Sivasadi Gaur-Bhakta-vrinda Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Sivasadi Gaur-Bhakta-vrinda Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare 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 Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Vanchakalpa tarubhyascha kripa sindubhya evacha patitanam pavanebhyo vaishnavebhyo namo namaha. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna, Hare Bol.
Vijay Pandit, come va, come va?
Bene, bene.
Molto bene.
Molto bene, molto